We are in Yaakov Brachot 61b 1. So it says, Tanya, we learned in the Braita, Rabbi Yossi Glili said, tzaddikim Yetzer Hara shoftan. The righteous are ruled entirely by their good inclination. How do we know? Shneimar says, V'libi chalal bekirmi, as it says, my heart, the evil inclination, for example, the evil inclination has died in my heart, has died within me. So that means the evil inclination. And he says, that's from Psalms. The verse teaches that David so mastered his evil inclination that it was as if it had died inside him. Others explain that this is what you're saying, that the hallmark of a completely righteous person is that his evil inclination has been completely refined and transformed, so that his whole heart prompts him only to do good. That's what we were saying. Okay, good. So then it says, Risham Yetzer Shoftan, that the wicked are ruled entirely by their evil inclination, as it says, Shenemar Neum Pesha, the rasha, B'Karav Libi Im Pachad Elokim V'Leneged Enav, as it says, think I, David, in my heart. David was thinking in his heart. Evil speaks to the wicked, saying, let there be no fear of God before his eyes. And again, the evil inclination causes the wicked to completely lose sight of the fear of heaven. And so they are altogether dominated by their evil inclination. Indeed, the hallmark of a thoroughly wicked person is that his good inclination has been completely eradicated, and his whole heart prompts him only to see evil. Benoni, a person who is in the average guy, the guy in the middle, the scale's exactly 50-50. V'zeh shoftan. So they're ruled by both, which means although their deeds may be flawless, their hearts are a constant battleground between the promptings of their good and their evil inclinations. And he says, how do we know? Shenemar Yamod Limin Evyon Hoshia Mishovtet Nafsho. As it says, God shall stand at the right of the poor man to save him from the rulers of his soul. And Amar Rava, so Rava said, we did this, you're right, now I remember this whole thing. By this yardstick, people will say, Kagon Anu Benonim. Rava said, by this yardstick, people such as ourselves are considered average. Abaye says to him, Lo shavik marchayeli chol bria, that the master would not let any creature live if he adopts such a standard. And again, although Rabba Rabba was certainly completely righteous in thought, indeed he feared that his evil inclination was merely dormant but not completely eradicated. Thus, by the above yardstick, he would be characterized as an average person. And Abaye says, if you are an average person, we're all dead. For even if you are in the category of an average person, who could possibly be considered completely righteous? Okay, now I'll ask you a question. Since we did this last week, you should have thought about it, and there's one obvious question that has to be in everybody's mind. How can there be a completely wicked person, that he has eradicated his Yetzer Tov? Or the other way, how could it be a completely righteous person who has completely eradicated his Yetzer Hara? It seems that the only one who has free choice in the system would be the benoni. He has 50-50, so he has to do it. But everybody has bechira chavshit. Everybody has free choice. So what would you think that the Gemara is really indicating here by saying that the tzaddik has defeated his Yetzer Hara, and the rasha has defeated his Yetzer Tov? Under certain circumstances, each one has defeated the other ones. Well, it seems that they completely did it, so it would be something else.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be maybe not 100%, maybe just like 55 towards good or 55.
Oh, so now you're like Rava. That's Rava's problem, by the way.
Okay.
That's Rava's problem. He's saying, according to that yardstick, people such as ourselves are considered average, and he was worrying, maybe I just, got him down for a little while. He's dormant, but he could come back. What you're suggesting is what Rav was saying. Rav is asking my question. How can you say that there's somebody who defeated his Yetzer Hara or Yetzer Tov, whatever the case is going to be? So I like to suggest an interesting concept. We learn in Pirkei Avot, mitzvah goreret, mitzvah avera goreret avera. The mitzvah, one mitzvah leads us to do another mitzvah, one avera, one transgression leads us to do another transgression. In other words, whatever I get used to is what I'm going to be conditioned to. So if I get used to speaking Lashon Hara, then I'm going to constantly, it's going to get easier and easier and easier. I'm going to make my rationales as to how I can do it. I'm going to say I'm witty, I'm all this, and I'll have all those things going on, and then I can speak Lashon Hara, and I never even think or consider that it is wrong. As a matter of fact, I consider it that I'm doing the best. I'm a tzaddik. So if I convince myself I'm a tzaddik by speaking Lashon Hara, that's one thing. Or the other way, I figure, I'm so far gone, what's the use of it? That's another thing too. I mean, how do people think that? I'll never be able to do tshuva, it's over.
He wants to do the right thing, but he's just...
He says, I know it's right, I shouldn't. I'll give you an example. A guy who smokes. He knows it's bad from the doctor told him, if you don't smoke, you're going to die, you're going to get cancer, you have cancer, blah, blah, blah. You're at the first stage, this, that. And the guy says, I know what the problems are, but I just don't have the willpower. I can't do it. I've sinned too long. I'm addicted. Okay, so what happened now? And we don't smoke, right? Nobody here smokes. You never smoked, right? I'm guessing you guys don't smoke. I never smoke, thank God. Okay, so we're sitting here and we can say, sure, you're addicted. Yeah, you're a little weakling, blah, blah, blah. Okay. The bottom line is, an addiction is an addiction. An addiction is something that we, thank God, do not understand. But it is something that will drive a person to every length that there is to feed that addiction. Okay? And that is, the Yetzer Hara is one. Because he addicted you. Now, of course, I can also go the other way. The Yetzer Tov addicted me to do mitzvot. Then he wins. What do I get the high from? You hear what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What am I getting the high from? Do I get the high from doing what I should be doing? Is that where I get the high from? And again, I'm using the high as in drug high. How do I, what's my euphoria? Doing good? Doing bad? And that's what will determine where I'm going to be. The benoni is not addicted. The benoni is a guy like us. He's not addicted. He doesn't get the high either way. Yeah, okay, I did something bad. I gambled. I know it was wrong, and I shouldn't do it. Yeah. I'll do tshuva for it later. Okay. Or, I put my tefillin. I went to, okay, God, let's go through the list. I got up early. I came to me. I was one of the first 10. It's not hard in this place anyway to be one of the first 10, but I was one of the first 10. And I put on my tefillin, and I said tefillah b'tzibor, and I said Shema in the proper time. Again, it's not very hard until it's meant to say Shema in the proper time. Okay, I counted the Omer. Early, late, 50 times. I said 3 Shemas every day. Because you have to repeat the Shema nice. 4 Shemas, because I went to bed, I said another Shema. I'm really good with you, God. Okay, this is the other side. I didn't do blank. I didn't do, I did. Okay, fine. So, okay, look, the Baishla, sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. I'll do tshuva. I'm doing tshuva right now. I'm thinking, it was wrong. I shouldn't have said blank to Plony. I shouldn't have said it to, certainly I shouldn't have told Plony what Plony did. Plony B, what Plony A did. I shouldn't have said that. It was no good. My Yetzer Hara got to me. The devil made me do it. Okay? You can say all these things because we're not addicted. We don't get the high. But if somebody gets the high, you understand the expression. If somebody gets the high and you get addicted to that high, you want to keep that high. So, and again, I never had the high, so I don't know. Really, I'm just using the language.
So somebody on the side of the Yetzer Hara, it seems like it's easier to understand that person's high because I got away with it. It's good. I'm not worried about God saying, and you just keep doing and doing it. The tzaddik, who's really a tzaddik, it's just harder to imagine.
I want you to know something. I want you to know something.
Yeah?
You went to Eretz Yisrael. You went to Eretz Yisrael. And you were on a high.
For a year.
You were on a high. You dove into longer than the Rav. Okay? You were on a high. You were so connected. You didn't want to lose that connection.
Yeah.
You were there. You were there. You were there. And the Galus takes over. Galus takes over. What can I tell you? And you were getting off the high. And you felt yourself getting off the high. And you didn't want to get off that high. You were addicted to that high. But again, there was nothing feeding the high. Okay, so if I don't keep to use drugs, again, I don't really know what I'm talking about. I'm going by what people tell me. Sorry?
Use drugs. Don't use drugs.
Right, don't use drugs. But if you're on that high of alcohol, the drunk high, or the those other highs, you want to maintain that high because you don't want to come back to reality. So you keep buying it and you keep drinking it, you do it, and you're drunk. You lose 10 years, 15, 20 years until finally you realize you lost everything. But you were on a high until that. You're euphoric. Like if you have good drugs. If you have bad drugs, you're not euphoric. But if you have good drugs, they say you're euphoric. And you want to keep doing that. I want to keep that. I want the pain to go away. I want everything to go away. So I keep doing that. When you were davening, you were there. When some people learn for the first time, and this I can talk about, when you learn for the first time in yeshiva, and you get it, you're in a high. You never want to leave that high. That high I know. You never want to leave. You always see that, you remember that. That's the first love you have. That first page of Gemara that you get, that first chumash when you open up and realize, I can do this. That's a high. Okay, that's again, that high will bring you to the next level of the next high. You finish the Masechta. I want to do another Masechta. And another one. I want to finish Shas. I want to do it again. Again, that's a high.
Okay.
Because that's mitzvah, gereret mitzvah. That high wants to bring you to the next level. And that you're competing with yourself. And you realize that each time I do it, it's great. Okay? And by the way, I've seen this with a lot of people where they learn, when they realize they can do it, when they learn, let's say, Koheles, or they're doing something else, and it's meaningful to them. And they can understand the Hebrew, and they're going through it, and they say, it's great. Why didn't I discover this before? That's a high. That's the high I'm talking about. I'm not talking, again, as a benoni, I don't get the high. Look, it's intellectual banter. Very nice. I know Hashem wants me to do it, but I'm really not turned on. It's uksin or something I'm really not understanding. I'm doing it because Hashem said to. Okay, and I go through. But I'm not getting a high. I've lost my high. So, by the way, when that happens, what do you have to do? Get a really good chavrusa. Or learn something else. Because you're not ready for it. If I'm not ready for a particular thing, people like to go jump into Zohar. Zohar Kodesh. They like to do that, right? Because it's a new age stuff. Yeah. So they get the Sulam, they get this, they get English, whatever they're going to get. And they start reading it and they don't get it. It would be like me going to Ivy Tech and taking, and I don't know physics at all, taking quantum physics and expecting to get all the things. Okay. I can think what I want, but I'm not going to get it. So here, the people going to Zohar, and they're running through the pages, and sometimes there's some cute stuff there, I guess, and they get into it, but for the most part, they're not going to get it. And they're saying, what is everybody getting excited about? I don't get this. And they leave it. No, you don't leave. What you do is you get a good chavrusa that can teach you bottom line, and that will work up, because when you're ready for the Zohar, when you're ready for the Gemara, when you're ready for halacha, that's when you have to be stages. You have to go move those stages. The best way to do that, by the way, is to learn Musar.
Aha.
But all those things need stages. I have to go through stages, and that's again what people don't want to hear. That it would be like me going into the weight room and deciding I'm going to lift up today 500 pounds. I'm going to bench 500 pounds. I think that's the day I'm going to go like this. I have my arms up like this. They're going to, you know what spotting means? The guy's standing behind me. He lifts it up so I can do it. And when he puts a 500, that's the day I crush my chest. Because 500 pounds will come crashing down on me. There's no way I'm going to do 500 pounds. But I may want to try it, right? You can be an idiot. And that's how people react towards learning. You can be an idiot about it and destroy yourself, but otherwise you move up slow. And again, one high brings you to the next high, to the next high, to the next high, and you get addicted. At that point, if I get addicted properly, my Yetzer Hara will always be able to defeat my Yetzer Tov. My Yetzer Tov will always be able to defeat my Yetzer Hara. But let's understand something. My Yetzer Tov never is stronger than my Yetzer Hara. They're always, I've said this 1,000 times, always evenly matched. Otherwise, there's no free will. They're always evenly matched. So what happens is that, but because I'm so far ahead, because I'm so addicted, I don't listen to my Yetzer Hara.
It's still there.
It's still there, but I'm so addicted to the other side. I don't want to listen to you. Leave me alone. I have a good high. I'm on a good high. That's completely righteous.
So what's he saying? He's saying here that he's saying that there is such thing as somebody who's 100% one way or the other, or is he's having a problem saying
who?
That?
Rava?
Yeah.
Rava is saying he has a problem with that. He's saying basically what I'm saying, or I'm saying what he's saying actually. That is dormant. But I'm saying more. Actually, we're not saying the same. He's saying it's dormant. He's afraid that it's dormant. That the Yetzer is dormant, ready to pounce. And I'm saying it's not dormant. It's just you're not listening to it. It's speaking at you, but you're not listening. So I'm going a little further than him.
So somebody who's righteous, he has enough extra strength just to tip the balance towards.
He has the high.
Yeah.
Again, if you look at it like that, if you look at that high, I have that excitement.
It's always tugging, but he's able to.
Yeah. I can, because I feel good. When's the only time I'm going to change anything? When I don't like it, when I'm not getting excited by it anymore. That's the only time I'm going to change.
And you let it slide.
Right. Right? If it's not being fed. If it's not being fed, okay. I'm going to let it slide. If I can't feed it, it slides. Or if I no longer get the high, I'm not interested anymore. And certainly if it causes me pain, I'm not interested. So there's a couple of different ways I can fall off the wagon. But if I go from high to high to high to high to high, then I'm going to defeat it. If I also go the other, by the way, the evil can work the same way. You can either go high there, and I'm really attracted to my animal instincts. I want this, I want that, I want this, I want that. And I'm fulfilling that desire. Well, that's going to beat me too. No question about that. It's only the guy who's in the middle who has not been defeated either way. Sometimes he gives in this way, sometimes that way. That's when it's not either he'll go either high. Whatever makes him feel good at that particular moment, that's where he's going to go. And that's the benoni. So, like I said, this little piece of Gemara could get you going all over the place because it really does force the question on if I just look at it straight. What do you mean you destroyed your Yetzer Hara or you destroyed your Yetzer Tov? If you do, there's no more free will, and that goes against everything we've said thus far. So you can't. So either you have to say it the way I'm saying it, or you have to go a little further to say no. As it says in Perek Yavot, when you hit 100 years old, it's as if you were dead. Why is this if you were dead? Because you already defeated Yetzer Hara. You already defeated, and now you're just doing what God wants. And again, if you get to that, which I'm saying it's a high that gets you there, but it could be whatever you want to call that. In other words, you have to have the motivation. And by the way, what you have to do in your situation, let's take yours again of the Israel experience, what you have to do is make mini Israel. You got to go back to Israel.
Yeah.
I would advise going back, but but the point is that you have to bring Israel, that feeling, with you so that you never fall off of that high. You don't allow yourself to come down. And that's, by the way, if you think about it, just one more thing, and then we'll go on, God willing. But when it comes to the Nazir, what's a Nazir? What does he have? What level does he reach when he becomes a Nazir?
A high level?
Yes, a level of a high priest.
Oh,
Right, a Kohen Gadol. He can't go to his father's funeral. He can't do. He has to let everything grow, so on and so forth. Wait 1 second. He's at a very high level. So what happens when he finishes his Nazirus? When after 30 days, he finishes his Nazirus. Now he becomes a regular Jew. He can now, after being his korbanos, he's going to be one of us again. What's one of the korbanos he has to bring? A sin offering. Why does he have to bring the sin offering?
Because he went down.
Because he went down from his high level. And once you go down from your high level, you have to bring a sin offering. So you own a sin offering too. I like it. Yeah.
So it says he's on the same level as the high priest, where he can't do the.
He can't do the avodah.
He can't do that, but he also can't go to his mother and father's funeral. He can't drink
Correct.
wine. He can't intoxicate himself.
Right.
I just can't drink wine in general. But I'm pretty sure that it says in the high priest he can't grow his hair out crazy, but he also can't shave it really short.
No, he can't cut his hair at all.
So
Who are you talking about? The high priest? The high priest has to get a haircut every 30 days.
Right, and you can't have it crazy, and you can't have it really short. You have to have it.
Well, it was very short. It was every 30 days. I mean, it was basically I don't know. I'm not going to say it was bald, but it was
Well, it depends on the haircut.
it's probably a 1,
Right.
if even that much. Yeah. Okay, so let's continue. So Zama Rava. So Rava said, "Lo ibri alma." The world was not created. El levishae gemore or the tzaddik gemore, except for the sake of the completely wicked or completely righteous. So the world, it says, the world to come was created primarily for the completely righteous, since they do not receive their true reward in this world. This world was created primarily for the completely wicked, to reward them for whatever good deeds they have performed, since they receive no reward in the world to come. Okay, again, completely righteous gets rewarded in Gan Eden, for lack of better terms, and the reward for the wicked is only here. So Amar Rava, by the way, then they get punished in Gehenna. That's the point. So Amar Rava said, Leida Inesh benafshi, a man should know himself im tzaddik gamorhu im love, whether or not he should be able to gauge whether or not he is completely righteous or not. Rav, that's interesting. Are you a tzaddik gamor or not? How many people here would say they're tzaddik gamor, complete tzaddik? You're a tzaddik gamor or not? He said you should know it. You should be able to gauge it. Okay. Can you gauge? You should be able to gauge yourself whether you are a complete tzaddik or not. That's what Rav is saying.
Oh, but not based on mitzvah, just on your.
Yeah, of course, based on mitzvah. That's how you become a tzaddik, by doing what God wants.
But not on the specific mitzvahs.
What?
Just the fact that you do mitzvahs, not the specific. Because I'm saying, I think it's gauge it as engage on this. Like I did this mitzvah, and this mitzvah, and this mitzvah.
Mm-hmm. I have a gauge. Tzaddik, tzaddik gamor, rasha gamora. Tzaddik, rasha. Okay. Right. So where do I fit in that scale? Am I over here? Am I over here? Over here? Where am I? Now everybody's watching what the rabbi did. Okay.
So I'm saying.
So where am I holding? Am I in the middle? Am I over here? So he's saying you're supposed to gauge by your actions. By your actions, by your thought, everything else, where you are.
When it says the action, that's the part I'm confused with. When it says the action, that's the specific mitzvahs you do. Not that you can't gauge the specific mitzvahs. No, but say kissing. What is it? Having a bris milah is 10 points in mitzvah.
No, that you can't do.
Right.
But you can gauge whether or not I did the mitzvah. Right. So, right. You don't know the points. Correct.
Right. So if you do a certain mitzvah every single day versus not doing the other mitzvah every single day, you don't know if you're either here or here or here. Like I've done this mitzvah every single day since I was 2, but I've done this mitzvah every single day since I was 10. So I don't know where you are on that scale, man.
No, I know. So which am I doing the mitzvot? Am I doing the mitzvot or am I not doing the mitzvot? I mean, at tzaddik Amor means I'm doing all the mitzvot.
Right.
So it's not a matter of let's talk at reality. 13.
Right.
Okay, at 13, I until then it's nothing. So until 13, am I on the gas pedal or am I easing off the gas pedal? Mm-hmm. So he says you should know. Notice we have to take an accounting of ourselves. What are we doing? What are we able to do? What have we been done? Again, if I'm not in Israel, I can't follow the agricultural laws. Yeah. If I don't follow Truma and everything else here, I don't have to. So what's the shaila? What I have to do, I have to do. Okay, so here he's saying you should be able to judge yourself. That's all he's saying. So Amarav lo ibre alma el la'acha ben Amri v'le Rabbi Chanina ben Dosa. Rav said the world was created only for the wicked king, the son of Omri, who just for information, Achav was the king of the 10 tribes, who together with his wicked wife Jezebel introduced Baal idolatry to Israel. The Mishnah reckons him among the 7 infamous people who have no share in the world to come. He was extremely wealthy, as may be seen from the episode in scripture in Tanakh, where King Ben-Hadad of Aram laid claim to his stores of silver and gold. And for the righteous, Rabbi Chanina ben Dosa, he was so righteous that the entire world was nourished by his merit, yet so poor that he sustained himself with no more than a kav of carobs from week to week. La'acha ben Omri the olam hazeh, so it says, for meaning that this world was made for Acha ben Omri, va'olam hazeh, Rabbi Chanina, Rabbi Chanina ben Dosa, the olam haba, and the world to come for Chanina ben Dosa. So he says, since the true purpose of the world to come is to reward the righteous who do not receive their reward in this world, its purpose was most perfectly fulfilled in Rabbi Chanina ben Dosa, who because of his great poverty did not enjoy this world at all. Conversely, since the purpose of this world is to reward the wicked who receive no reward in the world to come, its purpose was most truly fulfilled in King Achav, who had no share in the world, no share at all in the world to come, and was vastly wealthy and thoroughly enjoyed this world. So this goes back again. You can have question upon question upon question on these Gemaras, because before we had learned that you have 4 levels. You have the tzaddik gamor, you have the tzaddik, you have the rasha, and then you have the rasha gamor, following that order. The rasha gamor, if it was a rasha ben rasha, then he will be punished. The rasha, in other words, it'll be bad for him. And the rasha ben tzaddik, so that he'll get reward in this world because of his father, but he'll be punished in the next world, and so on and so forth. So, wait a second, it says here that Achav, so you have to look at Achav's father. So was Achav's father good? That would be what you have to ask, because he's rewarded in this world. So if he's a rasha ben rasha, so he should have been poor too, right? So you have to ask those sort of questions to figure out what was going on. The other thing you have to ask yourself is, when you are in good shape in this world, Yeah. Oh, by the way, let's go the other way. The rasha, the tzaddik. If it's tzaddik ben tzaddik, so then he's rewarded in this world and the next world. If it's tzaddik ben rasha, then he's punished in this world, rewarded in the next world. So are we? That's what the Gemara said. Again, going with that Gemara. So now we have to look and say, well, so Rav Chanina ben Dosa, was his father not a good guy? That he's poor? Or is there some other divine accounting going on here? These are the questions that one should be asking, saying, I can't just look at this Gemara and say, now I know the tricks to the trade, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. No, you have to really put all these Gemaras together and say, so what am I learning from that? Is it coming true what we just said? Or again, is there a separate accounting going on here where Rav is just making a statement and we really don't understand it totally? Again, this is, by the way, again, once again, why the yeshivish world does not study this in a class, because you wouldn't move. You would never move. I mean, you're not going to get the words. You'll get the words, but there's so many constants. There's no Tosfot here. It's not an exciting class. It's not an exciting thing. Okay, it's only Maharshan, so on and so forth. But there's so much going on behind the scenes here, philosophically, as to what we're holding, that you will certainly get lost, and there will be no answers. If you notice, there's some halacha here, but for the most part, no halacha. It's a very long daf, and so that's why they don't really fly. They don't really do this in yeshiva or any one of these midrash. They'll fly through it. That's all. But really, those are the questions you have to ask. Let's put everything together, 1, 2, 3, and see what's happening. And by the way, he doesn't do this either. Ashkel's not doing it either. They're not getting involved in that discussion. But it's something that I think we have to look at and say, well, how do we understand that? And then when you see people who aren't wicked, who are very successful. They do put tefillin on, they do give tzedakah, they do this, they do that, okay. They may do bad things too. I'm not going to argue that everybody's a tzaddik Gemara. We're not. We're benoni for the most part. But they're doing quite well in this world. Baruch Hashem. Okay, and some others are doing horribly in this world. They're poor. But they're nice people. They do mitzvot. So what do? You have people in Eretz Yisrael who are poor as the proverbial church mouse. Okay? They're learning. They're learning. Again, you have to ask, so what's going on? Is their parents Rishaim? Or do they have in their mind Rishas? Are the people learning, are they waiting for the money truck to pull up? They wake up, I heard a truck backing up. It must be my paycheck. No, it's not my paycheck. Darn, okay, let's go back to learning. My paycheck is going to come. Okay. What is it? So that's what you have to ask. Now, the Gemara returns to the Mishnah to discuss the verse quoted there. It says, V'ahavta et Hashem Elokecha, you shall love Hashem with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your resources. The Mishnah at the beginning of the chapter cited this verse as proof that one must recite a bracha for the bad, just as he does for the good. So the Gemara says, Tanya, the Breita has taught Rabbi Eliezer Omer, Im nemar avachol nafshecha, lama nemar avachol meodecha. If the Torah already said, if it's already said, with all your soul, why does it have to say with all your resources? V'im nemar avachol meodecha, if it says with all your resources, lama nemar avachol nafshecha. Why does it have to say with all your soul? Ella. So what's going on is, okay, he explains the question. Let the Torah simply state that the one that people consider more precious to them, and we would know that he is obligated to sacrifice even that for the love of God. So he is certainly required to give up lesser things. That's a valueless purpose. In other words, everybody, it says, right? With all your heart, soul, and might. So if once I say with all your soul, you're giving up your life, I have to say your resources. I don't say that. Obviously, if you have to give up your life, which is the most precious thing, you'd obviously have to give up your resources. Or if you're Jack Benny, so then he was a person who always loved money. That's what he was classified for. George Soros and all the other guys who loved their money. So if they love money more than life, so they should just say, B'chol meodecha. Let it say with all your resources. Now, no! It includes the lesser with all your life. Okay, you understand the question? Ella, so the Gemara says, Ella, im yesh lecha adam, but if there's a person, shagufo, he's explaining like I just did, shagufo chaviv alav imono, rather the reason is that is that if you have a person whose body is more precious to him than his money, lechach ne'emar, so therefore it says, bechol nafshecha, that's why it says with all of your soul. Okay, and then for this person, as it said, with all your soul, so he is prepared to give up for the love of God, to avoid idolatry, that which is most precious to him. If you have a person whose money is more precious than his body, lechach, therefore it says, b'chol meodecha. So Rabbi Akiva said, b'chol nafshecha, with all your soul, afilu notil af nafshecha. This teaches you that you should love Hashem even if He takes your soul from you, which again, next week we'll deal with. Actually, next week we won't. Next week we won't be here, but 2 weeks from now. So, but what we're getting into is Rabbi Akiva saying a very important thing. When a person is dying, that's the biggest test in the world, because are you really willing to give up your life? Most people, the truth is, are you really willing to give up your money? When it comes to b'chol levavcha, with all your heart, yes, your evil inclination, good inclination, we'll have that fight. We can have that discussion. That's a philosophical discussion. But when it comes to, you have to give up your very life for the Torah, or your money for the Torah, I think most people would have a big problem. I really do. I don't think I'm alone with saying that. I think that it's a very big thing. I mean, think about, we have a holiday called Sukkot. We have a holiday called Pesach. Shavuos you don't really spend money on, but Sukkot you have to build up a nice sukkah. Do I just put up a cheap sukkah? Do I get just a kosher lulav and etrog? I have to fill in the world. I can get the $1,000 pair, or I can get the $600 or $300 pair. I can buy a mezuzah for $36, or I can get it for $75 or $100. Mm-hmm. What do I do? I have a brand new house. I have all this fixings in the house. Beautiful, huge house, mansion. When it comes to mezuzah, I say I only have to spend $36. Get the minimum. The house, Jerusalem stone. Because people, I have to care about the house, but the mezuzah, what's the mezuzah? So I put it cheap on it. Okay, what do I do? That's for the mitzvah. Am I willing to give my soul and my resources for God? And that's what he's saying. You have people who love their money more than their soul. You have people who love their soul more than money, and you have people who love both of them more than anything else. So the question is, where do you hold? And that's what we have to look at, and that's why Rabbi Akiva says, "B'chol nafshecha," it means even if they take your soul, even if God's going at the moment you feel like you're dying, that's when you have to say, Shema Yisrael. I recognize this from you, Hashem. I recognize for the best. Whatever you're doing for me is for the best. It's a tremendous philosophy, and again, not one where I hope none of us have to deal with it. But and nobody should have to deal with it. But we will get into the story next time with Rabbi Akiva, who does sacrifice himself for the love of God. Yeah.